Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hormone Helper Podcast. I'm Coach Andrew, your hormone helper from Fit for All Fitness. I personally coach over 1,600 men and women to help better understand their hormones so they can lose weight and get their metabolism back on track. With this podcast, you're going to hear from me and my special guests about everything from metabolism to thyroid to weight loss. And we even talk a little bit of sexy time as we chat to spread more knowledge, thick like butter, on your hormones. If you're ready to learn, I'm ready to share, so let's do this. Welcome back, you wonderful human beings, to the Hormone Helper Podcast. We are back with another season. It's going to be the season of 2025 for HHP. I'm really pumped to be able to hop back on here after getting dozens of messages asking from people, when's the next episode coming? When are you going to be putting more content? I've been listening to your stuff. It's been fantastic. This is something that I'm really excited to be able to bring back. I'm excited to bring it back in a whole new way. And I want to talk about why we're doing the season of 2025 a little bit different. Of course, I want to open up with this episode here, and I want to let you know that we're going to be keeping the season of 2025 very potent. We're going to be focused highly on guests, bringing a high level of knowledge to tons of different topics around mental health, fitness. We got a list of people that's fully booked for this, which is absolutely incredible. But I want to talk about, of course, the kind of 6-month journey and process that's been in, because it has been a hot minute since I've done an episode for HHP. And I want to share with you why there was a pause and why we are now doing this episode series in seasons. Because before, it was something that I was doing multiple times a week. It was a combination of a blog, a video series. We had some guest speakers on. And really, when I started the Hormone Helper Podcast, a lot of had really changed. I mean, I was a hormone coach. We were helping people balance hormones. And I saw that there were a lot of people who just didn't have a lot of knowledge. And so the focus and the objective was really just, how do I give people information where they can get a little more educated enough for them to understand this is something I need to check, it's something I need to go to somebody for, or it's something that I can do on my own. Because a lot of people at that time still thought that hormones were really new. They didn't really know how to navigate them. And then somehow from there, it basically blew up into this really big thing where all forms of health was involved, and it was men's health, it was women's health. And I was super excited during that entire process. But of course, I started becoming passionate about something else, which I shared at the very end of the 2024 season, which was C2C, our coach to coach program, where effectively I coach other businesses and other practitioners how to be able to start their own business and help other people do the same thing in their industries. And in doing that, it's not that I lost the passion for health and fitness. It's that I recognized that working one-on-one with people was something that was really shortening the capacity that I had to be able to help people. I have this huge passion for business just as much as I have this huge passion for health. And I said to myself, well, if I'm going to go all in into helping these people grow and scale their businesses, they're going to coach way more people than I ever will individually with my practice. And so it's a win for health, it's a win for business, and it all just makes sense. So in building that, I took the C2C series, which was going to be a part of the podcast, and I actually created a YouTube channel called Coach to Coach Systems, and I decided to do a YouTube series for that instead, which left this weird thing, which is, well, what happens to HHP? What do I do with the podcast? What is the intention behind here? Because the goal at this point is not taking on people one-on-one for health. It's not helping me help them directly. It's really about how I spread and provide value. So another challenge that I had with the podcast, which was very interesting, is it can be sometimes a bit of a challenge to have a conversation with yourself where you're doing these podcast episodes one-on-one, you're having a monologue, and I love conversation. I love collaboration. I love connectivity. And there was only so much information that I could continue to share before I recognized that there were other people that I could be bringing on. So as 2024 wrapped up and I started the Coach to Coach Systems YouTube channel and started a podcast series on there, I put a pin in HHP because I decided that I wanted to figure out if I could get a bunch of practitioners and professionals together. Originally, I was looking at doing it as a panel, and I would still really love to do that. But the key with the panel is you have to have the same people available to record podcasts all the time. What I ended up deciding on, which is really exciting, which is what I'm going to share with you here in this intro series to 2025, is I'm going to be bringing on professionals, other practitioners, other coaches in different fields to help give their knowledge, because everyone has different fields. Mine was hormones. I'm speaking with osteopaths, other naturopathic doctor, endocrinologists, oncologists. There are tons of people that I'm connecting to that I'm going to be bringing to the podcast that are going to be able to spread light on some of these potential health things that are coming up in the world now. There's a lot going on with mental health. There's a lot going on with genetic testing. There's a lot going on with stress responses, high levels of anxiety. But more importantly, I mean, there's human connection and connectivity that we also have to take into account for our emotional health. All of these things are things that are really important. So I said, why not bring these professionals here, film these episodes with them so you can get the value that maybe you wouldn't be able to have access to unless you either started working with one of those professionals or booked a one-on-one call with them. So that became the main purpose and the focus of HHP. To do that takes time to vet professionals, to find them, to make sure that the knowledge is good, to film, to edit. So we did all that, which is absolutely incredible. I'm so grateful that all these practitioners have their trust in me to be able to hop onto the podcast. I'm excited that they're going to share everything and that there's no question left on the table. That being said as well, too, if at any time during any of these future episodes, you love a practitioner, you love the stuff that's there, maybe there's some other things that you have questions on, drop your questions. Drop your questions at the email that's in the description and the show notes. I would love to be able to have these people come back, but we have starting topics for them that we're going to be branching out into. 2025 is all going to be about a season of collaborations. It's going to be panels. It's going to be, if there is going to be limited like episodes of just me talking, it's going to be very limited. And that's only because I'm going to be maybe talking about something really taboo and that other people may not want to speak about. But I want this to be collaborative. I want HHP to be a space where practitioners can come and drop real knowledge so that way you guys can continue to learn. And this is something that now I have become completely detached from. I don't have to worry or even look at, well, you know, is this person going to hire other people, or what are they looking for in this moment, or how can I deliver things on hormones? I want to open it up. Of course, HHP is very, very close to my heart in terms of the name. So the name's not going to change. It'll always be the Hormone Helper Podcast. That being said, we're opening up to other topics. As we go through this process, I do think that it's fair, and I think it would be exciting to share a couple of updates because a lot has changed through my life. A lot has changed with Lorna as well too. So I think that it would be awesome to really start with what has changed. And we'll start with something really exciting first. Lorna is pregnant. Yay. It's very exciting. I'm super pumped. I know like some of these couples are like, we're pregnant. No, bitch, what are you talking about? Okay. The guy, you are not pregnant. All right. Your wife is pregnant. Be pumped, be excited for that. So Lorna is pregnant. I'm fired up. I'm excited to be a dad. Whether it's a boy or girl, I'm just hoping for a really happy and healthy child. Lorna's pregnancy is halfway through the term now. She's 4 months in, 20 weeks, which is wild. Wild to think that we're 20 weeks into this process already. She's got a tiny little watermelon, which is very cutie patootie. And besides that, she's been feeling phenomenal through the process. I'm so happy that we eat as healthy as we do. We exercise as much as we do. We've done all the things in our health. So hormonally, metabolically, like everything is really great because she hasn't had a lick of problems through this process and through this pregnancy. And it's a testament that when your hormones are balanced and when your metabolism is stable, you don't have to have a lot of these things like morning sickness, all this craziness. That type of stuff's common, but it's not normal. You can actually feel fantastic through the process. No cravings, no nothing. So that has been really, really great. It's actually going to be, I believe, mid next week or the week after. No, the 18th. What is today? The 12th. Yep, it is going to be next week already, where we're going to be doing a little gender reveal, which is super cool. So, of course, I will share that with you guys as well. Outside of that, I've completely switched my business from practice, had a successful exit there, and transitioned into business coach. And the focus there has largely been working with practitioners, naturopaths, chiropractors, personal trainers, people to be able to build their online brands like Lorna and I built ours. Through that process as well, too, I've shared many times on this podcast that I have had a very long-term and ongoing challenge with my mental health. Going through COVID and changing businesses and having to pivot online, I shared a little bit on the podcast, but I'll get into it. It was something where I think I energetically stepped over it, and it was easier to acknowledge, like, hey, I still have those feelings, but I'm good, than it was to actually step into it and say, well, how do I actually feel in this moment? And the reality is I was still feeling bits and pieces of depression. I was still feeling an energetic disconnect. And I'm really proud that I joined a men's group and that we're there to hold space for each other every week. They've been my best friends, phenomenal rocks, great examples of what fatherhood and leadership should be like. And I'm really grateful that I did that. This led me to a very beautiful opportunity, which I'm halfway through, which is writing a book on depression. I would love this book to be titled Deep Rest, but I don't know if people get it. And with the way that the message is going, like, I'm a big title person, so that's on the side there. But through the process of not only changing my business, but working towards my physical health, I recognized that there was a space where I had the opportunity to work on my mental and my emotional health too. It's something that's exciting, but it's also something that's nerve-wracking, because the work that you do mentally and emotionally is like an onion. There's layers to it. Every time you peel, every time you open a new box, there is something else underneath that is there for you to unpack. And as I talk with some clients and, close friends, a lot of people think that this work is very heavy. It can be if you let it get heavy, but really I'm trying to approach it from a way that's very natural, very organic. I deal with things as they come up. But I will say, on a personal level, on a business level, on a spiritual level, everything has been the best that it has ever been. My relationship with Lorna is incredible. The way that I run my business, I run with a high level of connectivity. My spirituality is something that has increased as well. I haven't talked about it on the podcast, but for me, spirituality was something that was largely vacant from my life. I mean, I was born a Christian, raised with Christian values, gone to church. Like, I was actually a part of a Portuguese, I don't even know the English word. The Portuguese word is catequese, I believe, catechism. That's what it is. So went to catechism when I was younger. And for those of you who don't know what that is, that's Jesus school. Like, we went every Sunday, cool, and we learned. There was that part that was largely devoid of my life, because as I had these challenges and experiences, the struggles with my mental health, I really didn't know who to turn to outside of my friends and my family. And I had never thought that I could turn inwards from a spiritual perspective. I never thought that I could rely on God, on source, and on that unconditional love to help me walk through a very unique path in life. So a lot is coming up at the same time, and this is the way that it works. Like an onion, it's all connected and it's all coming off in layers, which means that I have to start setting new agreements. I have to start setting new boundaries. I have to start setting new priorities. And then I also have to start making new decisions, because now, especially with us bringing a child into this world, things will change. I'm going to have a brand new chapter in my life that's very beautiful and very exciting. And it not only forces me to say to myself, am I being the best role model that I can be in this moment? But also, am I being intentional with my time? And am I saying yes to me? Because just like my relationship with Lorna is a separate entity, my relationship with my child will be a separate entity. My goals and my dreams are also still very important to me. So all of these things means that I have to be incredibly intentional, that I have to look down at everything that I'm working on or everything I'm working towards and say, what is it that I want? I genuinely believe that I don't have to leave anything on the table. I believe that we can have it all. I believe you can have a strong relationship with your partner. I believe that you can be incredibly connected to your children and spend time with them. I believe that you can be strong spiritually. I believe that you can have a good relationship with your work, that you can live your passion, have your dreams. There's no reason as to why you cannot succeed in any one of those things. The key to finding not balance, the key to finding synchronicity, the key to finding that everything comes and merges into one is by recognizing that there are areas in which you have to step up in your life. And for this process, especially leading up through this pregnancy and leading up through everything I've been doing with my mental and emotional health, I've really had the time to reflect on what I wanted. The book is part of what I wanted. Me being able to write a book and create and share a message about my mental health, showcase the real challenges, especially for entrepreneurs, of building a business because it's very lonely and it can be very overwhelming, of living a life where maybe you feel that you have to keep working towards goals, which really goals are just chasing destinations, and then showing people how I navigated through my depression in order to come out into a place where I energetically, emotionally, and mentally am in a really good place. Do I have unhappy days? 100%. Everyone does. Are there always going to be days where you have challenges? Yes. But I can now confidently say that not only do I understand where my fulfillment lies and I understand the thing that I'm working towards, I also have a sense of happiness, and I understand and I feel that happiness is a part of my relationships and a part of things that are coming up in my life. All of this is stuff that has transpired over these 6 to 8 months. So that's a very large part of the hiatus of HHP, was really taking a look into finding, where does this podcast fit into my future vision? Where does it fit into the life I want to live, the man I want to become, the partner I want to continue to be, and the father that I'm looking to develop into? And here's the thing, guys. I think sometimes in life we put ourselves under the situation where we feel like we're obligated to do something. Well, I started the podcast and I'm obligated to keep running it. Well, I said yes to that friend, so now I have to do it. When in reality, you can reassess, you can set a new boundary, you can make an adjustment to commitments all the time. And I think the greatest challenge that we are facing as people right now, and why I'm really looking forward to speaking to other people on this podcast, people have the highest amount of health issues. People are experiencing the highest levels of disconnect, and people are very, very unhappy and they do not know what they want. And my experience going through this process of life, building the business, searching for the dream, getting the house, the car, being able to travel, recognizing that's not it. Sorry, guys, making $1 million is not it. We did it. I still felt like shit. Sorry, guys, traveling multiple times is not it. Because if you're miserable while you're traveling, what's the point? And instead, it's looking at it and recognizing it for what it is. Sometimes the challenges that we are experiencing in life are not the world is against us, or my life is terrible, or it's really hard. It's something as simple as there's consequences. And sometimes the challenges we experience every day and the things that we feel every day are consequences from us not being the version of person that we know we can be. If I keep putting things off, there's consequences to that. Maybe you don't have the job that you want. Maybe your relationship is not as strong as you thought it was. Maybe you and your partner are disconnected because you refuse to take that time. Maybe your health's in the shitter, or maybe you're starting to develop health issues. All of these things are not things that were thrust upon you. They're actually a result of the way you live your life. And especially as someone who lived through an area of depression where I was like, why is all of this happening to me right now? It wasn't happening to me. It was happening for me. But I had to first recognize that I was the common denominator. I was connected to all of these challenges that were in my life. And I could make a lot of excuses that would justify as great answers. I could say, well, no one taught me emotional integrity. Yeah, well, I had the opportunity to learn. It's all around me. Well, no one helped me with my mental health. No one told me that it was a problem. Yeah, well, I had the opportunity to learn at any point in time. Things were always available to me. Just because you don't know something doesn't mean you can't take the initiative. And I think a lot of people feel this disconnect now because they're looking for something to be the thing. I have to find purpose. I have to find my dream. I have to find my goal. Chasing destination after destination. Then when you get there, when you finally get that thing, you feel the same way that you did before. But for me, a large part of this return, this transition in business, this book, even something else which I'll share in a second for you that I'm doing, was an understanding that purpose is not about finding what you're meant to do. It's not about chasing the next destination. It's about stepping into more of who you're meant to be. If you show up every day and you give everything that you have and you don't leave it on the table, you leave nothing on the table, and you truly show up for your friends, for your family, for your relationships, you're giving everything. At the end of that day, you will not feel bad. You won't, because you know that you tried. And if you know that you are living every day of your life avoiding, you're unconscious, you're being reactive, you're dodging responsibility, or you're giving responsibility to someone else, you do it, government, you do it, family, you do it, work, you do it, guess what? Your life will be hard for you. Because now when you give your power over away to someone else, when you give that responsibility away to someone else, big surprise, now you're left with nothing. So through this process, it's really about alignment. It's really about connectivity. It's really about understanding that purpose and happiness can be found anywhere at any time. You can have purpose. Your purpose in the moment could be simply making a phenomenal cup of coffee. That could be purpose. There's purpose in a great cup of coffee. There's purpose in a great conversation with a friend. There's purpose with a walk where your mind is clear and you're not thinking about all of the nonsense. And just like purpose can be that simple, happiness can be that simple. You can find happiness in a very cheesy or crude joke from a partner or a friend. You could find happiness just zoning out, drinking a tea, staring off at the wall, looking at your kid, watching them learn, watching them play with Legos. That's always something that makes me super happy when a kid, which is, I don't know, sounds weird. I feel like it sounds weird, but it's like when you watch a kid do something for the very first time and they're looking at it and they're very inquisitive and they're like trying to put it together and then finally they like find like a certain slot for something and they're like eyes light up like, oh, that fits in there like crazy. Lorna and I were, this was last Friday, we were at an outing. It's kind of like a local Norfolk thing. There was a local band and there was this kid that was playing with a Connect 4. That's what it was. And it was a large Connect 4 board and there was a slide that like dropped all the pieces at the end. And she was just constantly putting in the Connect 4 pieces. And there was just this level of joy and this level of happiness that was there that I didn't have to work for. It was just really cool watching a tiny child's mind figure out, understand, process something, and just have a shit ton of fun. And that level of simplicity is something that we have to get back to as human beings. We're making happiness way too complicated. We're putting conditions on what happiness should be like. We're also putting conditions on what living a healthy life should be like and what purpose should be like. And this is why I decided like this podcast still has to continue. It has to continue because throughout this whole thing, it can be super simple. It can be simple to start on your journey of health. It can be simple to start on your journey of exercise. It can be simple starting your journey of mindset. Just think a better thought, one better thought every single day for the next 30 days, and you're going to feel significantly better. But you have to be first made aware. Awareness is one of the biggest things that I didn't realize was missing in my life, mentally and emotionally. When I became aware that I had no connections with people outside of my wife, I was like, oh man, I need friends, like good friends, people who root for me, people who actually want me to grow. That's what made me go out and find the men's group. It's what made me go out and start doing the work with my mindset and my emotions. But I had to first become aware that that was something that was a challenge, that was something that I felt like there was a void in my life, that I had stepped over it. Now, in going through that process, I became so inspired writing the book, and people were reading chapters and people were hearing about what I had to say about depression, that someone said, you should speak about it on stage. And I said I should speak about it on stage. So, like most of you know, for the person that I am, I went all in. And I started signing up and registering for TEDx events. And the goal is to be able to speak on stage this year as well. All of these things are things that are in alignment with what I want to do. I want to grow my men's retreat this year. I want to speak on stage. I want to have the book. I want to build my business, and I want to just share value just like this. So A lot has changed, and it's incredible how much can change in just 6 to 8 months. But it's so beautiful that even in that short time or long time frame, depending on who you are, some of you might be like 8 months is for an eternity. Some of you are like 6 months is not a lot for this. But through this process, it's incredible the amount of realizations that you can have and the way that you can just make a decision. I think that 8 months is not a long time. And I think, especially in all the adjustments and the changes and the things that we do inside of our life that sometimes we might take months on deciding, I think in making the pivots that I've had is something I'm very grateful that I do have that mindset and that I am equipped to, when I decide, I make the change. And sometimes the change means it might take a month or two to make those adjustments, but all of it is very good. Because when I decide, I do it. When I do it, I'm in. And when I'm in's not I operate 1,000% every day. Sometimes it's 20%, sometimes it's 80%. But I've made the decision and I'm moving forward with all of these things. So that, in a nutshell, a very big 27-minute currently nutshell, is what has changed for me and what will continue to change for me. And I'm excited to share with you the journey of fatherhood. I'm excited to share with you the journey of spirituality and bring on some very special people that I've had a connection with for these past 8 months, which is beautiful. And I'm excited to share with you these friendships of new professionals and practitioners that are going to come on here to maybe put into your mind considerations you never thought were possible. Things that maybe you never had on your radar that was like, wow, that's actually something that I can do right now that can really change. And through this process, just like the last series as well, and I'm going to effectively be running these in series. So I'm going to do them every year. I'll run a certain subset of episodes for the series. This series is all going to be focused on this collaboration. If you know practitioners, if you know professionals, if you know coaches who would be a phenomenal fit to hop on and have a conversation with me, tell them. Anyone can apply. I don't care about experience. I don't care about how many followers someone has. I care that someone has a strong story and a message and that they want to help people. And I think that it would be fantastic to have someone you know on this podcast. That being said, through this process, you'll probably hear a couple of individual audios from me. I'll call them audios and not casts because there's just so much stuff that I feel I have learned in these past 6 months about integrity, about alignment, about finding something that drives purpose in you, about motivation and how I don't believe that people are unmotivated. I've completely changed my opinion on what motivation is. I used to think that I had to motivate people or that people had to have a self level of motivation. Now I recognize motivation is not the problem at all. I don't believe motivation exists. I believe it's a shot glass that people drink. A lot has changed and I'm excited to share with you, but this is the introductory episode to everything that is great, to everything that's phenomenal, to everything that is new, to a 2025 episode series that's going to be awesome. And through this process, I would love to have you guys subscribe to the podcast. I'd love to have you guys share the episodes. I'd love to have you guys tag the podcast wherever you can. It's going to be on every single location known to man. Let's grow this together. Let's spread the word together. Lots of love, you guys. Thanks for tuning into this episode, and we will see you on future ones. Bye for now. Well, it seems I'm all out of info juice for today. That's all for this episode, and thank you so much for listening. Please leave a raving review for me if you've learned something good, and make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode. Now, if you're in the mood for some more great content and tools to get your hormones on track, why not check out our free Facebook group and the blog on our site. We do amazing weekly trainings in our group that me and my wife call Tea and Teachings that give good tips for anything hormones and metabolism related. It's also a great community where you get to share your goals and success with like-minded people just like you. I'll make sure to drop both the Facebook group link and the blog link in the show notes for you. Or if you're ambitious like me, the name of the group is Weight Loss and Balanced Hormones. It'll say Fit for All beside it with a picture of me. So come and join us and have more fun.